Playmakers, how's it going? This is Coach Wood, and I am ready, locked and loaded to be back with you guys for another episode of content. We've got a very, very special topic that we're going to talk to that's going to pertain to most of you young football players out there. So we'll get into that in a second. But first, some housekeeping. If you're joining us for the very first time, welcome to the Before You Go Pro channel. I'm your host, Coach Wood, and this is where we talk football, you guys. Real coach, real time opportunities out there in the football industry for you guys. I used to coach on the field. I said, you know what? This is a mental game. This is a mental game on the business side of it and on the football side of it. And we need more mental coaches. So got into the mental and recruiting game for you young athletes out there. And it's been a labor of love ever since. So this is the Weekday Huddle, you guys. Once again, welcome. This is where we come in, we talk tactics, we talk strategies, we talk the key topics that pertain to you young football players, you families of football players, your coaches, and you fans out there. So we've got a big one today. But before we get into that, make sure you hit the subscribe button and then also check out the resources that we have down for you in the description box, you guys. So let's talk a little NIL. Let's talk a little NIL because obviously this is something that is still somewhat new. It's still somewhat new, and we're creating NIL resources for you. So go down there in that description box and make sure you check out what we have. But it's something new, you guys. So we're learning as we go. The coaches are learning, the general managers that are now at these universities. I mean, that's a new title. That's a new job opportunity in college football. There were never GMs in college football. And roughly about 2 years ago, we started getting GMs in college football. But they're learning this thing too. And of course, the athletes and the families are learning about NIL. Now, I grew up in a day and age, unfortunately, where the players weren't getting paid. You know, all we got was some training table meals, some sweatsuits, and we got a chance to get a free education. Well, it wasn't free because we were putting blood, sweat, and tears into it, but it was free financially for our family. So that was all we got. You know, you might get a pizza after the game or some Kentucky Fried Chicken, but that's all you got. You had to make it work. You could use the Pell Grant that some families have access to. If your family didn't have access to the Pell Grant money, then you didn't have anything unless your parents were going to send you some money. So a lot of the guys that I played with in college, and maybe some of the parents or coaches listening to this, we were dead broke, you guys. We were flat out broke. There were plenty of times I could recall that we were eating leftover pizza or eating top ramen in the dorm or our apartment, you know, especially towards the end of the month. So you could play in front of 80,000 people going to play the University of Texas on ABC and everything, people asking for your autograph, applauding. But if it was at the end of the month, chances are you were going home to some cereal and some leftovers and whatever was at the facility. But nobody was living lavish. Nobody, unless there was an occasional guy getting paid under the table, nobody was living lavish that I played with in college. Well, today it's a totally different day and age. Some of these young men, and kudos to them and blessings to them, some of these young men are setting up their families for life. Their families will never have to work again with the dollar figures that they're raking in as long as they handle the money correctly. Which brings me to my next point. Have we gotten to a point, you guys, and please feel free to share your opinions on the subject, but have we gotten to a point with NIL where there's more of a downside with it than an upside with it? You guys let me know what you think. Is there more of a downside with NIL right now than an upside? I loved it initially, and I do 100% agree that these athletes especially at these revenue generating sports. You're talking men's basketball, you're talking football, you're talking women's basketball at some of these schools, you're talking Nebraska volleyball, girls volleyball. If it's generating revenue, and some of them are generating astronomical, football is generating astronomical revenue for the universities, for many different people involved. You see the coaches' contracts. So I am 100%. Please do not take this as Coach Wood thinks that athletes at the college level shouldn't be paid. I think athletes at the high school level should be paid if they can get themselves in position market value wise to get some money. Some of the kids are getting so much exposure at the high school level that, yeah, they deserve a cut, a little piece of pie too. But this one's about the college athletes. Have we gotten to a point, you guys, where the NIL is more of a distraction or more of a negative than it is a positive? I'm hearing things from coaches. We're seeing things in the industry. We're seeing issues that would have not have happened if it wasn't for NIL. Like what you saw with the Washington quarterback this past year, what you see with the guys getting sued by their former universities. You see with the guy who just went to Texas Tech, the quarterback from Cincinnati. We're seeing issues that would have never happened if it wasn't for NIL and now the money being involved. So are we having more of a downside because of NIL than an upside? Here's my biggest issue with NIL. My biggest issue with NIL is that it's a lot of money fast for some of these athletes, money that their family has never seen, which means that they're probably not prepared for it. And when you're not prepared for something, guess what happens? You squander it. And that causes huge regrets, huge regrets. And I truly think we are going to see some athletes that may have never even got to real money. They may have never gotten to the NFL or had a substantial career in the NFL, but they got to the money in college. And they are going to have huge regrets if they don't handle that money properly. We all know tax implications can happen. We all know that the friends and family can come take what you have, and then you end up looking up 5-10 years later and you have regrets. And that is what scares me about NIL is, are these athletes going to have regrets that never would have existed? Now, they've got money that never would have existed. And once again, if they handle it properly, could be life-changing money. And for an athlete that wasn't going to play long in the NFL or wasn't going to make it at all, to have that life-changing money or that Kickstarter money for himself, for his family, that is huge. That is huge. A lot of athletes go to the bottom when they hang up their cleats. They go to the bottom of the job force because they don't have any skills. That was me. I went to the bottom. We're going to have some other weekday huddles with Coach Wood where I explain exactly what I went through after I was done playing college football and a little bit of professional ball. I went to the bottom, you guys. And the bottom is depressing, all right? So I'm a little scared with the NIL that there's going to be regrets, bigger regrets than I even had and some of my teammates had later on down the road. And that's what scares me with NIL. Here's the other thing about NIL, and this is very important for you athletes to hear because some of you are going to get to some substantial dollars. Some of you guys are going to get to the bag. And this is the other thing that you need to hear. NIL, as it's set up today in college sports, is not real. It's not real NIL. It's pay for play. There are some athletes in college that are high exposure, that are producing at a high level. The Jeremiah Smiths of the world come to mind. The receiver at Ohio State, where you know him by face. A lot of people, you can see his value to the NFL and that he's going to be a high draft NFL pick. And then obviously his production in college has been off the hook. He's a freak. That guy is going to get real NIL in any era. Real NIL is when it's built off your name, image, and likeness. People can almost, they really don't need you to be in a uniform to know who you are. Or maybe even on a local level, you've gained enough steam, enough notoriety where you can make some things happen. Now, what you guys aren't learning is the entrepreneurial side of NIL. That's what opened up to you guys when they said that NIL was something that was legal for student athletes to take advantage of. The entrepreneurial side of NIL is open to you, but you guys aren't truly being taught that. You will be taught that soon because we got some things in the work for you, but you guys aren't truly being taught that. What you're being taught is go play at a big time Power 4 university and go see what they're willing to pay you based off of how much they think you're going to play. That's not NIL. The school should have never got involved with NIL. If it was going to be real NIL, the school should have never got involved in NIL. They'll pay you to have rights to your NIL because you work for them. You're an employee. You know, when Russell Wilson was with the Seattle Seahawks, they didn't get involved in any deals he had with Nike or Reebok or whoever he was signed to. Or if he wanted to do something down at the local car dealership, the Seahawks didn't get involved with that. That's real NIL. So if something goes wrong with your contract with the car dealership, we're not involved as the Seattle Seahawks. That's between Russell Wilson and the car dealership. True NIL. And they want him because of his name, image, and likeness. He's the starting quarterback for the Seahawks. People know who he is. They see his face. That's why we want him to represent our car dealership. True NIL. What's taking place in college is not true NIL. It's, this team will pay you this much to play quarterback for them, and we'll pay you this much, and then you decide. But it's pay for play. And the thing that concerns me about pay for play, especially at the highest level of college football today, is that the market is off. In college football, athletes are getting paid more than they're really worth to the marketplace, more than most of them than the production that they're bringing back to the university. And this is what happens when you're getting paid more than you really should be getting paid. For a while, it is sweet. It feels like you can skip through life. It feels like you're eating chocolate strawberries and bonbon. It feels like everything is great. And that's going to be fine, you guys, for the guys who go to the NFL and they have a substantial career in the NFL. The thing I worry about is the guy who's been making $200,000, $250 a year, $500,000 and doesn't go to the NFL, or goes and has a real quick cup of tea. And now he's got all of his life in front of him. We know the college guys are a little bit earlier or older, I should say, coming out of college now. So maybe he's 24, 25. When I came out, I was 23 and I was considered old in my day. Now they're coming out 25, 26, 27. But guess what? You still got your whole life in front of you. You still got a lot of earning potential in front of you. You still got a potential family in front of you and having to take care of them. You still got a lot of bills in front of you. And what happens if that money's gone? What happens if that money's gone? That was more money than most of these kids will ever see in their lifetime. What happens when that money's gone? That's what I worry about, because here's the other side to that money being gone. You're going to go try to get a job. And when you go try to get a job, it is not going to pay you anywhere near. I had no idea how hard it was to earn a dollar until I got into the real workforce. I had no idea how hard it was to get what you're at least close to what you may be worth in the work floor. It is no joke. So if I'm a kid that's playing a little bit at Penn State, I didn't have a boom career where I'm going first, second round, but I played a little bit at Penn State. I made some plays. I was making about $300,000 a year. That final year I made 400. I made 500. I made 600. Do you know what you have to do, what you have to be to make 600K or even 300K or 200K in the real workforce? Most of you guys have no idea. Those jobs are not just falling off of the tree. You got to put in some work. You got to have a heavy skill set. You've got to put in some years to make 200, 300, 500, 600,000 in the real world. And these kids will not have $600,000, $500,000, $300,000 skills coming out of college if they don't go pro. So that's the thing that scares me about NIL, is that it's not real NIL. And a matter of fact, these kids are getting paid way more than they probably should be getting paid. They definitely deserve to get paid 100%. And if you are the cream of the crop, you're going big time, you're Jeremiah Smith, he deserves every bit of the 4, 5, 6 million that Ohio State is playing him. He's that good. If you take him and you put him on Indiana, you take him, you put him on Miami, take him, put him on Michigan, whoever they're playing's got problems. He's that good. And there's some other players in the country that are that good, but most of them are overpaid. Most college players are overpaid. There's a glitch in the system. There's a money glitch in the system, you guys. So that's my biggest concern, my biggest scare, my biggest fear with NIL, is that a lot of these kids are going to look up and that money's going to be gone. And for one, they're going to have some regrets because they lost that money. But for two, and this is probably even the bigger thing, you guys, is it's going to be hard for them to find something else where they can make that type of money, especially quickly. And patience is big for kids nowadays, where the lack of patience isn't there. So now I'm working at Home Depot making 60, 70, and I'm working day and night. And I used to make 350 playing over at Iowa. It's going to be tough. It's going to be tough on my mentals. So I'm praying for you guys. Keep this in mind if you are a young college football player or about to be a college football player and you find yourself getting into some money. We've got a couple of kids that have signed a couple of nice contracts. You find yourself getting into some money. That's tomorrow money. That's not necessarily today money. You take a little bit, go get you a nice steak dinner. If you're making high level, maybe you get you a car or something. But that's tomorrow money. That's tomorrow money. You want to put that away and work it when you're in college and you're not paying for anything. That's the beautiful thing about college NIL. In the pros, when you get paid, you still got to pay all your regular living expenses and bills. In college, they're paying that too. They're paying for the dorm. They're paying for the apartment. You got training table at the facility, So watch the big chains. Watch all of the brand new Dodge Chargers. Watch the trips and the vacations. Not to say you don't deserve it. Not to say don't do it. Just watch it. Save some of that for later money. Save some for later money. Okay. Matter of fact, invest some for later money. I just saw a young man that created a community hub center with his NIL money. Now the community comes and spends some time together, comes spend some money at his community center. That's a lasting, that's for later. He's setting up something for later. You guys, he's going to be fine. And NIL is going to be great for him. So keep this in mind. Coach Wood's a little scared. I'm a little scared because I know how hard it is to make $1. Do you? Because it's seeming real easy in college football nowadays. So you young athletes, keep that in mind. Praying for you guys. Make all you can make. Make all you can make. But make sure that you're doing it the right way. Please feel free to reach out to us at Before You Go Pro. We've got some special NIL things coming for you guys, so I'm excited for that. But once again, Coach Wood, hopefully you got value out of this episode of the Weekday Huddle, and you're getting value every time we publish new content, you guys. Hit that subscribe button. Please share. We're so close to 1,000 subscribers. I'm going to do a giveaway or something when we get to 1,000 subscribers. So, love you guys. I'm Coach Wood. We'll see you at the top.